Hey there! I was browsing the website cultpens.com. I've purchased things in the past, and I found a pen that I found very fascinating, the Platinum PTL-5000. As you know, Platinum is one of the bigger Japanese players, but this pen was £49. I leave it up to you to convert that to your local currency, but that is not that much considering this pen has a solid gold 14-karat nib. I was fascinated by that because at that price, that's pretty uncommon. You usually get a steel nib. In fact, I have steel nibbed pens that are more expensive than this pen. So I contacted the people at Cult Pens, and Simon said, sure, we'll send you one of those pens for review purposes. So thanks a lot. Here we go with this pen. I'll cover the parts of the pen, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Now, we got this. It's a little user guide on how to ink up your pens. Believe it or not, but for about £50 you don't just get a gold nibbed pen, you even get a converter for free, which is quite cool if you want to use bottle ink. Here you have the box, simple plastic box. What can you expect? You get a cartridge along with the converter if you don't like to use bottle ink, and of course you have the pen. So I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Okay, so the pen comes in a little plastic sleeve. You take it out, it's already inked up with the converter in it. Let's cover the parts. The finial right there on top of the pen, there isn't a whole lot to see. It's just a simple black thing. It's reflective. You get a little gold ring and then a golden black clip, which I think looks actually fairly refined. The clip is springy, and this feels like something I could bend, so I'm not going to overdo it. Then we have the cap. It's nice black. It's all plastic. I guess that was to be expected given the price. It says Platinum and Japan on the cap. Then there is this little gold band, and then we have the barrel that tapers down, and then it ends in another one of those huge sort of black eyes, the same thing that you see on the cap. Alright, the cap slips off, and then you get this section, and there is the fabled nib. The nib has a couple of markings on it. It has the Platinum P logo. It says 14K, and it has the Japanese character for medium on it. Something that I found quite interesting is that the feed, you can't really see that because I have it inked up with, well, you see it a little bit. The feed is actually transparent, which I think is very cool. I've seen that on a couple of Platinum pens. Maybe it's gimmicky, but I think it's really cool. If you put a lighter ink in there, you can actually see the ink flow into your nib, which is, you know, it's geeky, but hey, it's cool. The section, tapered, very simple, plastic. Got a little step down there from the barrel. Don't notice it that much. I think it's pretty cool. Size-wise, not a super small pen, but not a big one either. You can post a pen for writing, and I would do that with this one to make it a size that I find just a little bit more comfortable. It's not the world's greatest pen, world's biggest pen, I should say. But posted, I think it makes for a very comfortable writing size. Okay, barrel screws open, then you get this little metal threads, which is quite good, I would say, useful. And then you have the converter. And for those of you not familiar with a Platinum converter, it fits very snugly onto the pen. As you can see, that little opening really slides onto the nipple in the end of the section very well. So very useful. And also, these Platinum converters can be disassembled by just unscrewing the metal ring, and then you can take them apart, which is very useful for cleaning. So I have not yet been able to disassemble the pen. This is going to take, it's a little bit of a puzzle, but if I figure it out, it's going to go into the disassembly line. Alright, what do I like about the pen, and what do I not like about the pen? Well, there's a couple of things that I really like. First of all, for the price point, you get a solid gold nib. The nib is actually quite a good performer. I felt a little bit of feedback. It is a Japanese medium, which may make a little bit closer to a Western fine, but it performs. It's definitely not a super fine nib. It works well, maybe a little bit of feedback, but nothing too terrible, especially considering the price. I think it's very acceptable, and you get a bit of line variation because it does have some springiness to it, which a lot of people enjoy. So that is quite good, I would say. Those are really things I like. I like the fact that when you post it, it's very well balanced, it being a very light pen. So that's very pleasant. It's definitely one you can carry around without being weighed down. If you, some of my really big, oversized metal pens, you put them in a shirt pocket and they really weigh you down. This one will not. It's very light. Things I don't really like about it, well, it feels very plasticky. It being so light, that to me makes it feel a little bit cheapish. And that's something, you know, I know that some people love light pens. I happen to be on the spectrum. I love heavier pens, but personal preference. I think the nib is relatively small. Aesthetically, I think it could have been a little bit bigger. But of course, if it is solid gold, that would put up the price quite a bit, and the whole point of this pen is allowing people to use a gold nibbed pen for an affordable price. So I understand that. That is pretty much all. Maybe the clip could be improved a little bit because it's very thin metal, but I mean it hasn't broken off clearly, so it's not like it's a terrible clip. Having said that, I think we need to take a couple of measurements. That's what I'm going to do now. Weighing it, the pen comes down to a little under 20 grams, so I'd say about 18 grams inked up or something. Size-wise, capped, I get 135 millimeters. Uncapped, I have 122 millimeters. Section diameter, at the narrowest point, about 8.5, and at the widest point, about 10 millimeters. That's it. I'm sure you're burning with desire to see this thing in action. That's what we're going to do next. I hope this was useful. Thanks again to Cult Pens for sending me this pen, along with their 5 inks that they have recently launched, one of which I immediately put in this pen, so you'll see that in the writing sample. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, the Platinum PTL-5000. Let's see what this baby is all about. The ink is Cult Pens Deep Dark Green. So I'll put down Deep Dark Green by Cult Pens. I don't have that specific bottle at hand, but they come in these little 30 milliliter bottles. Pretty cool, made by Diamine. Deep dark brown, red, green, blue, purple. I think I have named them all there. Pretty cool inks. Okay, let's look at the pen. As you can see, pretty fine line, but as I said in the review, it is a Japanese pen. Got a hair there. There we go. It's a smooth writer. You get a little bit of feedback, but it's not terrible. Let's see how well the feed keeps up. As you can see, no skipping, no skidding. It's a relatively wet line. Speaking of wetness, what I really like about this pen, and that is something that I have noticed with Japanese pens, very consistent ink flow. Here I have a Platinum carbon desk pen. This has been in a little desk holder. I haven't used this for days, and you saw it starts up straight away. And this pen does the same thing. I've had it out, the nib out for a bit now, which is talking, put it on the paper and it writes. That's a very cool thing. Now, when it comes to line variation, you see it can definitely squeeze out quite a bit of variation. The weird double line there was the feed that was hitting the paper. So you can definitely do that, which is quite cool. It will, I mean, disrupt ink flow maybe a little bit to the point that the feed can't keep up and it starts to railroad. It's not really meant to be used so quickly with so much flex, but as you can see, there's quite a bit of variation to be had, which is quite cool. As to reverse writing, pretty good, right? You get a fine line and the ink keeps up very well. It's a bit scratchy, but it's not terrible. So for the guys out there who like to do that, to get a really fine line by rotating the nib, as you can see, it's possible. So, Cult Pens, thank you very much for supplying me with this pen to review it. I like it. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.